We have three really lovely students here, all from HESN Labs, and they're going to join us and get us kind of kicked off. We also have Weru Kara, who will be joining us from Kenya. She'll be jumping on at any minute, so excuse us if we have to jump in and check a microphone or something like that for her. And we're also potentially being joined by Alia Aguila from Tanzania. They've been having some electricity issues this morning, so to kind of add to our, remembering that context and that kind of stuff is really important in the theme of the conference. So I'll turn it over to Alma, who's going to kick us off. Alma is with HESN and is going to be our moderator this morning.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. So my name is Alma. I'm the Communications Analyst for the Higher Education Solutions Network. And for those of you who are online, I am just a faceless voice, but I assure you that I'm here. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Like Lauren said, this is kind of the first time we've done something like this, so there's some technical lessons that we've learned, but students are a really critical component of HESN, and so we're really, really excited that this year we have 152 registered students for TechCon, which is a really amazing number. Of those 152, 82 of them are innovators who are part of 45 teams that will be competing in the innovation marketplace. So that's also absolutely fantastic. And as some of you know, students are a very important part of HESN. We're kind of thinking of you guys as the people on the front lines of the global solver movement. So we're excited to have you here today, and I will start passing it on to the students who are here with us. So first, introducing herself is going to be Corinne Carland, and after her will be Akshay Jain, and they're from the Comprehensive Initiative on Technology Evaluation. So I'll pass it over to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Corinne Carland. I am a second-year master's student at MIT in the Technology and Policy program, which is in the Engineering Systems division. So just like really briefly, the Comprehensive Initiative on Technology Evaluation, or CITE as we call it, aims to develop a methodology to be able to evaluate technologies for the developing world. The interesting thing that we do is we evaluate along multiple dimensions, so we don't just look at whether the product works as it says it should, although that's like extremely critical to success. We also look at whether or not the product can be delivered into the hands of the people who need it, whether or not it will be taken up by the populations that it's aiming to serve, and things like that. And this summer we evaluated water filters in India.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Akshay Jain. I'm a graduate research assistant at Texas A&M University. I'm doing my PhD in chemical engineering, and I'm associated with CITE MIT here. I would tell you about a bit about the CITE laboratory that we have at MIT. We basically work with 3S rule, that is suitability, sustainability, and scalability. And I was a part of suitability team, and I'll talk about it more later.
Morning, everyone. My name is David Tusubira. I'm from Makerere University. I'm doing electrical engineering, third year undergrad. I'm an innovator. I'm working on K3. I'm representing my team, a team of 3. K3 is basically, in a few terms, the future of breast cancer diagnosis. We want to use light instead of X-rays and MRIs and stuff like that. We want to use light to diagnose breast cancer, to make a cheaper way of diagnosing breast cancer for the ladies in Uganda or poor countries who can't afford to have a mammogram test and stuff like that. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So, like Lauren mentioned, we were also supposed to have Elliot and Weru on the line, but I'm not sure that they're with us at this moment. And I am actually going to sit, because we have an empty seat, so now you get to see me. So we're going to talk to the students and just ask them a few questions about kind of how they see the interplay between technology, innovation, and development. So the first question I have for you guys is, how has your idea of technology and development and the relationship between those two things changed since you've been working with these labs? So kind of how has your idea of international development evolved during this time? And David, maybe you can go first and pass it along.
Before I got involved with RAN, because that's the lab I always thought that that development was always brought about by people who are willing to invest. That means entrepreneurs, people with money, yeah? But when I started getting involved with RAN, I realized that you only need to have the idea. In other words, development only starts with the brainchild, just the idea. when there's an idea, you don't need to be a rich person. You just need to find the right people, and if the idea is good enough, then you're going to bring about development. And another thing is, the idea has to be good enough. In other words, development only has space for good ideas. If your idea sucks, you're not going to make it anywhere in the world because no one's going to give you money. The only bad ideas that make it into the development world are the ones which are brought about by people who are rich and are willing to invest in their own stupid ideas. Right? But if you have a good idea and you're anyone, you're definitely going to bring about development. And maybe the last thing I'll say is development and technology go hand in hand. I've come to realize that there is no development without a technology. Even if it's a little bit, there has to be a bit of technology somewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, David, it was really a very good point. So what I think about technology and development was just innovation before I started working with CITE. That innovation is everything, ideas is everything, but I never thought that how important is the evaluation of technologies that are currently there in the market. So how important is, like, if a customer go to a market to buy something, on what perspective his selection should be based on. Yeah, that's all.
Interestingly, so I'm an engineer, like most people here, and so I thought, well, you can solve all the problems in the world if you just figure out the right, like, technology. You invent something, and then magic will happen, and then development, like, just goes along with it. What I learned that was really, really interesting is that there's so much more to, I guess, like, you have to have the system that goes along with the technology. So I visited a lot of clinics in rural India this summer, health clinics, and the number of, like, broken x-ray machines, broken ultrasound machines that we saw was just, it was stunning. And the fact was that they didn't have the technicians available to come in and fix them. And no one knew how to get replacement parts, no one knew how to sort of support these technologies. So it was a good idea, but they were going to fail if you don't have all the other systems in place. So it takes sort of a concerted effort.
Those were three really different and really amazing answers. Thank you. My second question was, you're obviously all from different institutions and different universities, and you work with a broad range of people. So how does working with cross-cultural teams kind of make this whole process different? What are some of the challenges and benefits of working with people in other countries, other universities, other networks? And David, you can go first again.
I got a chance to attend a design thinking kind of session where we had Professor Bani Banerjee and a bunch of people from around Africa, and that was my first experience to deal with many people from different cultures, and we had a lot of tasks, and I got to learn that when you're with people from different cultures, when people are bringing ideas, there's a stage of brainstorming, yeah. So the brainstorming part is where everyone is going to bring any kind of crazy idea, okay? And if you have people from different cultures, you're going to have a wider base of the ideas that are going to come in. And that's simply because people from different cultures have experienced different kinds of problems. People from Ethiopia are very, very professional. They understand pastoralists, yeah? In Uganda, people understand different things. In Kenya, it's something else, yeah? So if you have a big problem, and in a part of that problem there's a little bit of something that someone has seen before, it's going to be easier for an idea to be there when there's someone from there. So I think to summarize that, having cross-cultural teams brings a wider base of ideas to solve problems. Thank you.
Yeah, right, Daniel. Like, people from different background trying to meet a single goal, there are a lot of things, a lot of ideas that come into picture. Even one more important point, it also helps us to find a common ground. Like, India is a country, like, I worked in India with a lot of MIT people and people from other backgrounds. India is a country with a lot of diversity, and here comes where we need to work on a single common ground or towards a single goal, which is really important. Also, it also helps us to gain empathy between all of us and expose ourselves to different problem-solving techniques that could lead us to a particular solution.
So, to be completely honest, like, people like Akshay and our other Indian partners, our project would never have been completed to the way it was without them. They were absolutely critical to our success. They helped us understand the context, they helped us understand the people we were trying to learn from. They served like as translators. Like, they were, like, working with them was absolutely necessary for us to truly understand the water filter issue in India and to be able to learn and say anything meaningful about it.
I actually had a question that I was just curious about, which was what's been kind of your favorite and maybe your most challenging experience of working as part of this network so far? So whether that's working on an invention, David, or doing testing in another country, maybe just talk about one experience that's been particularly sort of revolutionary for you guys.
Maybe we can start with Corinne down at the end.
So working in India was the first time I'd actually worked in the field for international development. So the whole thing was incredibly, it was an incredibly rich learning experience for me. It was really interesting for me to learn how real life constraints play into when you're trying to do research. So for example, we just couldn't find a driver that day, or we didn't have anyone to do translating, or the shop owner was just too busy to talk to us. So that was sort of like learning how to work within the context that you're in was very interesting, and I learned so much more about the culture of the people we were trying to work with, which really enriched the research itself, and also it was a great learning experience for me.
Yeah, I agree, Corinne. So basically, it was also a first-hand experience for me. I've never done field work before, going to slums and talking to people, going to each and everyone's household, taking water samples. That was a completely different experience even for me, though I'm from India. But it was a lot of understanding that came into a picture, like how people live, what are the problems they face, and we also realized that there are some simple solutions to simple problems that could be applied in the slums and other parts of Ahmedabad that we are working on.
Well, I haven't really done the field work, but from what I know, dealing with cross-cultural team, dealing with people from other cultures, from what I've heard is there's an issue with the mindset of the people. For instance, my partner Fahad is working on he has a solution to landslides, and so the people who happen to live where these landslides occur, these people are not going to move, even if there's been 2 landslides there. Yeah, the people are going to stay there. Okay, and you who's trying to solve the problem, you're probably going to be wondering, why the hell are these people still staying here when they know that there's going to be another landslide, okay? But you see, these are things we don't understand, yeah? These people are different. Probably that's the only place they've known, yeah? So I think some of the challenges are that you may not understand, you may fail to understand why certain people behave in a certain way, yeah? And that's probably one of the problems that I know about dealing with people from different cultures.
Thank you. I'm actually going to maybe ask Lauren, our sort of Twitter moderator, if there's a question that is not on my little cheat sheet that we'd like to ask them, and if not, then I'm happy to keep posing more questions to the students.
I did get a quick email. She participated in an international development design summit that we've been kind of hosting for a handful of years now, and came back as, she was a participant one year, came back as an organizer the next. And for her, just really expressed that the first time the diversity issue, particularly to her, was really, really eye-opening. And what really surprised her is coming back as an organizer, she thought that being, again, in the same situation, she would be much more prepared, she would feel more at home, and kind of not feel as much of a learning experience as it had been for her the first time, that it wouldn't be quite as revolutionary. And just shared that, no matter what situation you're going into, even if you feel like you've been in a very similar one before, that it's always changing, you're always learning, you're always meeting new people that are going to teach you something new and really share something that changes you. And so for her, she shared the email, it's fantastic, that's kind of really shaped her experience as part of the Hessen Lab.
Great, thank you. Maybe another question for you guys. So you've all been a part of this network that really taps into researchers and entrepreneurs and academics and a whole variety of other people. Do you think this is a model that works? And how could this model be applied to other problems in international development or other fields in general? How do you feel about this sort of structure as a working model to solve sort of grand challenges in international development?
I think this model is quite efficient because what I like most about it is from the RAN perspective, you're dealing with a community, you're trying to solve their problems, yeah, and you're in close communication with the community. That means when you come up with a solution, yeah, you're going to test it immediately and you're going to get results, and then you're going to get critiqued, and then you're going to go back, do the new version of the solution, go back. So working in close communication with the community is something that works, yeah, because you're going to test it. It's like being in a lab, yeah, where you're trying to maybe find a cure to a certain cancer, and you've got the cancer right there, yeah, and you're trying to find out the solution. I think this kind of system should be adopted by most governments in Africa, yeah, because the way things are done, say for my country, yeah, or maybe the other countries in Africa, is the government is going to have this budget, and then they're going to send money to the different parts, and then the money is going to go somehow, going to trickle down somehow. Nobody really knows. But if this model was being applied in normal governance in my country, for instance, I think things would move a bit faster. Like, I think my country would be far from where it is right now, because they would try something, yeah, and they would never have to waste money again on a solution that didn't work, yeah. So I think my government should start thinking about using this model to solve the problems of the people in the country. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is a great idea. Like, working in cross-cultural teams gives you always a different perspective. So let's say there's a problem in India, and there are people coming from different countries just trying to solve that single problem. You get different perspectives, you get different ideas of what is happening, like what kind of solutions are there in that country and how that can be implemented in this country. Also, they are like in a different perspective of CITE, like using a 3S rule for evaluating things is really a good idea, because as I mentioned before, that how important it is for evaluating the technologies for people to understand what they buy.
So their answers were fantastic, and I don't have much to add, but I guess the point being that international development and alleviating extreme poverty is a very, very complicated problem, and if it was straightforward and if one way of thinking about it could solve it, we would have already done that by now. So essentially it does take multiple different people working from different perspectives to come up with a viable solution. The challenge of that is that you have all these people thinking different ways and different directions, and how do we all work together to go in one direction? And that's been something that I think the labs have been starting to do, and it's been, once we're able to work together and go forward in a direction, our different skill sets make it a really great, valuable way of doing things.
Okay, I know I'm tiring you guys out, so I will ask one more question, and then maybe it might be nice to get a question from the audience who's here now and live, and maybe I can ask one of my coworkers to maybe grab a piece of paper and then just pass us some of the questions. We're just kind of ad hocing this. So my last question for you all is going to be, what are you most excited about at TechCon this year? And maybe what do you really hope that we can do at a TechCon in the future? And we'll start with Corinne, and we'll bring it back up here.
I guess I'm really excited to give and hear all the lightning talks that are going to be presented. I think it's a great way to get a quick brief on what's going on. I think maybe one thing that could be improved was to have those earlier, so that I got a sense of what everyone was doing and then was able to follow up with people, because I'm sure I'm gonna hear all these talks and be like, oh, that's so cool, I need to talk to you, but I have to get on a plane and go home. So but otherwise it's been fantastic meeting everyone.
Yeah, it is my first time at TechCon 2014, and at TechCon, and it was really a good experience so far. I'm meeting a lot of people, networking with a lot of people, trying to understand what kind of problems they are solving and where I can contribute. Also, it is like really important issue, like what USAID is doing for different developing countries. It's really a very important issue and a global pressing issue.
I think, of course, this is my first time at any TechCon event, and I must say it's pretty amazing. And I think the most awesome thing about TechCon is the networking. I don't think the whole competing no, I think what I'm taking out most of TechCon is the networking. Meeting someone from MIT, then someone from UC Berkeley, and me coming from Makerere University, I get exposed to what other people are doing in their universities. Because in Makerere, people think, people in MIT are like, they're doing this stuff, they hear people are doing this stuff, and but when I come here and I meet these guys and I'm like, these guys are actually normal people, yeah? Yeah, that's what I've loved most about this. I come and meet an MIT guy and I talk to him and he's like a normal guy, yeah? And we have a challenge, like yesterday we had a challenge of building like the tallest structure with pasta and tape, yeah, and a marshmallow, and it was really amazing to have this common problem. An MIT guy, a Makerere guy, and a UC Berkeley guy, yeah, we're all here and we're all just trying to solve one little problem on a small table with just mere pasta and tape, yeah. I think that's the most amazing thing about TechCon, and maybe I can't suggest anything on the changing or what changes should be added, because I'm having a great time here, and I think you guys should keep this up. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I was at the marshmallow session and it was quite amazing. So I think we should probably keep doing that. Do we have maybe one question from the audience?
My name is Laura Sampath. I work with VentureWell. Thank you all for your comments. It's been really great to hear all the different experiences that you've been having over the course of the last, in the context of this work. And I actually want to sort of comment back on David's comment about networking being the most useful part of this meeting. And I want to give a small shout out. I've recruited some of your teammates here to come to the innovator support sessions that are happening today, because I think in addition to the networking piece, another key takeaway is if you all can actually work and do some sort of strategic thinking around the work that you're all doing. So if there are any of the innovators in the room who want to hone strategies around the work they're doing, figure out all the different aspects, and we're doing it all day today in this room. So less of a question and more of a, we can do more than just networking. We can also help you be more strategic in the work you're doing. So your projects all are really fascinating. So
Thank you, Laura. I think that we will probably wrap it up since our first plenary will be starting soon. So I just wanted to thank our three students and also the ones that we're hoping to get on the screen. But this has been one of my favorite parts of TechCon, to be quite honest. And thank you all so much for getting up a little bit earlier than you needed to and joining us this morning. And we hope to do this again and kind of make it a much more, a larger event, essentially. So thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day.